My fiancé refused to get tested, so I broke off our engagement. My fiancé and I have been together for 5 years. He's the love of my life, and I literally can't imagine being without him. So the thought of doing this is making my stomach roll. Ugh. He was adopted, and neither he nor his parents knew much about his medical history. A few weeks ago, he met his biological brother for the first time and found out that his birth father had passed from Huntington's disease. There's a 50% chance that my fiancé also has the genetic defect that causes Huntington's, but he refuses to get tested. It's not the disease I'm scared of, it's the not knowing. If we know he'll get it, we can prepare financially, practically, and emotionally. He says a positive test result will hold him back from living his life, but I feel like it's the opposite. How can we live with this giant maybe looming over us? How can I make smart decisions on where to live, how to budget, or even whether or not to have biological children with this man if I'm allowed to have all the facts? So, I've come to the decision that I have to break it off. I respect his decision, but I can't understand or accept it. I have literally no one I could talk to about this because it's his effing secret and not mine to tell. I just want to clarify a few things up here. 1. I would not leave him if he tested positive for the defect. I would not leave him if he got sick. I just want to plan for us to be able to afford the best life and care for him if he does, which means we'd have to start immediately. 2. I don't want or need perfect children. That isn't realistic. But it is possible to avoid them being subjected to a 50-50 chance of having the disease. Of course, there are alternative options, but again, they involve preparation and planning. I'm more than willing to take a full genetic panel as well. 3. Yes, one or both of us could get or permanently disabled in an accident or any other number of things. But I've come to learn that you can't plan for every unpredictable thing life throws at you. This is the rare occasion that we do have the opportunity to prepare. Essentially, it comes down to the fact that we're incompatible, regardless of how much we love each other. I'm a planner, and he's very laid back. Until now, these traits have complemented each other, but unfortunately, they've brought us to an impasse that I don't think we both move forward from happily. I've decided to take a few steps back. Those of you who brought up the fact that a few weeks is probably too little time for him to fully process his possible diagnosis have a really valid point. Just because I want to immediately jump into problem-solving mode doesn't mean it's necessarily the right thing to do here. So, I'm not leaving. Yet, at least. And hopefully never. I'm going to find a therapist to help me work through my anxieties and give my fiancé some space, not literal, to work through his. And then we'll revisit this conversation, hopefully with more patience on my part and willingness to act on his. Anyway, we talked about it. At length, we cried, we fought, we researched, I showed him empathy. We consulted with friends, family, and specialists. We pressed pause for days or weeks when we needed a break from the whole thing. And in the end, he agreed to have the test. He's negative, both for developing the disease himself as well as the risk of passing it on. No matter what else happens, this is one area where he's assuredly safe. All this said, once the euphoria faded, we decided it was necessary to put a hold on our engagement and take some time apart. I've spent the last few months traveling abroad, and other than a few texts, we haven't spoken much. But I'm home now, and we have our second first date tonight. Wish me luck. I mentioned this a million times in my first post, but here goes again. I had no plans to leave if he tested positive. I just needed to know so that we can plan our lives accordingly. Boom. We decided together to take a break. It's been an incredibly difficult, emotionally charged roller coaster of a year. I didn't leave him. We planned from one day to keep communication to a minimum. It was difficult. I actually began keeping a journal of all the things I wanted to call or text him about. It's extensive, and I can't wait to share it with him. I didn't give him an ultimatum, but I understand why that's the takeaway. I only told Reddit that I was thinking of leaving, and I know that it was rash and irrational. Why does everyone seem to think that traveling means sleeping around? It feels like many of you are determined for there to be a bad guy here, but please don't put this label on my fiancé. He doesn't deserve it. He's not a knucklehead, an a-hole, or an ostrich. He's a man who was suddenly forced to face his own mortality. He had a very human response, and I didn't make it any easier on him during those first few weeks. Essentially, he concluded, in his words, that the cat was already halfway out of the bag and it could come out, but it was never going back in. If he was positive, we'd be obsessing over every little thing being a possible symptom. But if we left things as they were, we'd be doing that anyway. That doesn't mean it was easy at all. We actually had to make a second appointment to get the results because he couldn't bring himself to hear them the first time. But that was okay. I was there for him the whole time to support him however he needed to. Well, the magic was still there. We may have spent months apart, but it didn't feel that way at all. In fact, everything felt even better and more comfortable when we were parted. We felt like the happy couple we'd been back in January before this whole thing started. It was like there was a weight hanging over our relationship that was keeping us from actually moving forward despite the good news, and it's finally been lifted. Before last night, I couldn't remember the last time anything with him felt bright and easy. We stayed up all night sharing stories and pictures and telling each other about the people we'd met. It was absolutely amazing sharing our experiences with each other. I know it may seem like it would have been better if we'd done it together, but there was something really special about living it through each other's eyes. Anyway, we have the rest of our lives to travel the world together, because we're not breaking up. Suck on that, people who were hoping he'd leave me. Look, we know this new honeymoon period we're in won't last forever, but I really think we're prepared to handle whatever other challenges life tries to throw at us. Honestly, there's a pretty good chance we've already gotten through the worst one, knock on wood. But even if there's something bigger and badder waiting for us, I'm completely optimistic we'll be okay. So that's that. We've officially reached the other side of our first major life issue together. Did either of us behave perfectly? No. Are we going to be perfect next time? Probably not. Are we 100% committed to combining our completely opposite ways of dealing with crises into a superpower designed to crush conflict like a 90s cartoon? Abso-effing-lutely! Comment 1. It's an awful disease. I don't blame people not wanting to know if they carry the gene or not. Once you test positive, you know, with a 100% chance that you will get the disease and it will eventually unalive you. And it's an awful thing. You lose your grip on reality, your emotional balance, and controls of your movements. It's like schizophrenia turning into dementia, turning into Parkinson's and ALS. Individuals who live long enough usually pass away because of repeated pneumonia caused by food aspiration. There are no treatments and nothing really effective to prevent the disease. And the punter here? No one can really tell when you will get the disease. Depending on the state of the mutation that you carry, doctors can give you an estimate such as most people with a mutation similar to yours develop the disease around 45. But it is not a perfect prediction. For the same mutation, you have people that will develop the disease at 30, while some will stay asymptomatic until their late 50s, early 60s. And no one really knows why. And again, it's not great. That's why when I heard it first thing, I was like, oh boy, that's a rough one. So again, here's to also the dismay of what if he did get it? I think it would have been the same exact thing. OP would have been like, hey, we need some time apart, let's do this, and let's live our lives to the fullest. And there's, again, no bad guy here. This was just a crazy situation. The bad guy's Huntington's disease.